Hi and welcome to the Twisted Threads Podcast. You're watching episode number 9 and I am Stacy, your host, and I am coming to you from the Sierra Nevada mountains in California, and that right there is my co-host Rebel. He'll probably be sleeping there the entire time. He's my Queensland healer wiener dog, and we might see the other one come by, especially if someone drives by in a loud vehicle of sorts. Then she'll jump over to the window and look outside and hopefully not bark like last time. Sorry, it has been so long since I recorded last. I've just been super busy, so I haven't had much knitting time. I've been helping my husband with some work and taking on more bookkeeping for him, so it's been a little more hectic than it has been for the last couple of podcasts. So apologies, but I do have some knitting, no finished objects, but I wanted to at least share what I have because I don't know the next time I'll be able to podcast. This entire week I'm going to be helping him on a job, so it's going to be very busy and it's kind of manual labor, so I'm going to be exhausted when I get home, and I doubt that I'll want to knit much or film or do anything of that kind of sort other than pass out. So let me get right into it after I take a sip of dragon fruit vitamin water. So like I said, I have no finished objects, but I have been working on all of the projects that I showed last time. I'll show you the first one that has the least amount of work done, which is kind of sad. So these are my Daphne socks. They're patterned by Cookie A, and they're this really pretty lace. Last time I showed you I had one finished sock, and I had just done a few rounds on the cuff. And this is in a project bag of mine that I have made. This is something that I sell on Twisted Threads, on my Twisted Threads Yarn Etsy account. Oh, by the way, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Stacieleeeee. You can find my hand-dyed yarn and project bags on Instagram and Etsy as Twisted Threads Yarn. And I will have everything linked below, so you can just go ahead and click on them there, and it'll take you right to the Etsy or the Ravelry pages and have the Instagram usernames there. Also, I do mention everything, all of the patterns and everything, and I link to them below as well. Instead of doing proper show notes, I find it easier to just post everything below, and you can go ahead and click on the pattern from there and it'll take you right to it, instead of going to a different website to find the show notes and click on it there. I tend to click on more things when they're just listed down below. So back to this. This is the Twisted Threads project bag. This is just a prototype one. I didn't do the zipper as centered as I wanted it to, so I got to keep it. But inside are my Daphne socks. So this is the finished one that I had last time. It's still finished. And here is the progress on my second sock, which is not very much, but I do want to get these done, so I am going to be working on these quite a bit. That is it right here. So last time, I don't have a progress keeper in this because I thought I'd be finished with it, so I didn't put anything in. Last time I believe I was about like 4 or 5 rows in, about there. And since then I've finished the cuff and done 1 repeat of the lace. And my socks have 5 repeats of the lace in the leg of the sock, so I've got 4 more before I can do the heel turn. I am knitting the pattern with Barocco Ultra Alpaca yarn. Let me actually show you this one. That's pretty true to color right there. It's just this really pretty, beautiful heathered yarn. It's got kind of flecks of gold and some orange in there. It's a little out of my comfort zone. I'm not a super pinky person, so it's a little scary, but I love it. I love the color. And the needles that I'm using are size 0 carbons, and I absolutely love them. Next time I do knit these socks, if I use this pattern, I will be using the recommended needle size of size 1s. These are a little tight. I can get them on, and once they're on, they stay perfectly. or the one stays perfectly, as I wandered around the house in it for a couple minutes. But they're a little tight, so next time I'll be using probably the recommended needle size. Unless these hold up super, super well, then I'll just continue with my size 0s. So one and done. Next one I'll show you is in my Lone Larch project bag, which is covered in dog hair because I left it on the floor, and I think my other dog Dixie laid on it. And a little wrapped up, but as you can see, this is my Flea cardigan that I am knitting for the Flea Cal with Ellie of Skein Deer and Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast. Let me show you. I haven't done a ton of progress on this one as well. But I have worked on it nevertheless, so where the cute little otter progress keeper is, I've knit probably about 2 inches, and I've just started increasing back out from my waist to cover my hips. So we are getting there, but this is what it looks like in its all giant wrinkled glory. And it is a steeked cardigan, so I have a steek line down the center. Let me kind of show you the colors again. Throw my ends inside so I don't have to stare at all those. So everything is Quince & Company other than this main contrasting color, which is Cascade Heritage Silk. I don't have the names of everything here with me right now, so I can't tell you them. But the the other contrast colors, that's pretty true to color there as well. These are all in Quince & Company Finch, the fingering weight. And then this main body color is Quince & Company Tern. That one I do know that is in Prout's Neck. And I'm loving it. I am knitting I'm knitting this on the recommended needle sizes, which was a 1.5 for the collar and a 2.5 for the body. And my gauge is about a stitch smaller than what's called for, but I really like the thickness of the cardigan. I wouldn't want it any looser or more lightweight, so I stuck with it, and I'm just knitting a size up, which is a medium, which I believe was a 38-inch bust. Mine's coming out at about a 35, which is perfect because my bust is 35, and I tend to either like fitted or sweaters or cardigans, or sweaters or cardigans with a lot of negative ease. So this is working out perfectly. It's going to be perfectly fitted, probably with about no ease, maybe a little bit of negative ease. So depending on the apparatus that I'm wearing. We all know how that works if we're female. But yeah, so it is coming out really, really well, and it is very addicting with the little fleas, but I haven't given it as much love as I should because of this one. And this is the Sammal cardigan by Locatelli, and I did show this to you last time. It was before I split for the sleeves. So let me show you that. Where is my progress keeper? There it is. So here is where I was last time. There's the sleeve. I was about an inch above where I needed to split. So I did that. And I'm trying to straighten it up. I have knit the entire body, and I'm now working on a sleeve. And this one is slightly shorter. It doesn't hit at my natural waist. It hits about 3 inches below my natural waist, kind of on my pant line. I wear like mid-rise, maybe high-rise jeans, and not super high-rise like in your natural waist, but a normal high-rise. And I apologize for the air conditioning coming on. I forgot to turn it off. It shouldn't be too long. So it hits right on my pants line, and I really like that for this cardigan. So to go with that, I'm knitting these sleeves about 3/4 inch, probably about You can't see where my hand was on the other side. Probably about right there. But yeah. This is the cable down the front, and I absolutely love it. It is an all-over textured cardigan, and I have messed up in one spot, but it's on my shoulder, and I am not going back now because I didn't realize it when I was knitting the body before I split for the sleeves. And then I started knitting the sleeve on that side, and it's just gonna be there. It's totally fine. You can probably see it. I forgot to alternate, so there's a little round of ribbing, 3 rows of ribbing in there, but it's on top of my shoulder. It's about right here. So when I'm wearing it, I'm not going to notice, and I'm not going to rip back. So it is what it is. But yeah, so this is it. I'm knitting this on a size 4. Chiagu interchangeable needles, my go-to. I have the Chiagu interchangeable set, so I tend to knit mostly with Chiagu interchangeables. And this is going so quickly. Probably because all of my other projects are on needles smaller than 4s. So of course this is going to be going quickly. But yeah, I am loving it. The yarn that I'm using is Blue Moon Fiber Arts, and it is in the, I know it's 100% superwash fingering weight yarn, and I believe it's the Scattering Particles Parade colorway. I don't have the ball bands. I seem to have lost them somewhere. But yeah, I'm not alternating skeins. Let me show you the back. So it has pooled a little bit, but I thought that with the crazy speckling of this yarn, I didn't want to alternate because it would probably pool more. So there's a little more at the top where the rows were shorter, and then it kind of widens out. And then I changed skeins about right here. And you really can't tell. I mean, it's so speckled in different ways that you really can't tell. I did do something different for the bottom. The pattern, honestly, I didn't even look at the pattern when I got to where I wanted to start the ribbing, so that's just me. But the pattern itself, I'm not going to give too much away, but you stop the patterning that's down the front. So the patterning that's down the front are these beautiful cables. I just continued them all the way down because I liked the way it looked. That's not in the pattern. She has you stop for the ribbing, but I wanted to be different, and I can't make a sweater without changing one thing, right? And I did make the ribbing slightly longer as well. It's just regular 1x1 rib, nice and stretchy. I did do a regular bind off on it. I did not do a stretchy bind off because I didn't want it to wave or to flare. If when I block it and it gets slightly stretched out, I don't want that to be wavy. So I figured if it's a little tight now, once I block it, it'll be fine. Same goes for the body of the sweater. I'm knitting kind of in between a size small and medium. The small, I think, was a 33.5-inch bust finished measurement, and the medium was a 36. And I had enough yardage for the small. So I've done a few more increases. I believe right now as it sits, it's about 34 inches in the bust, and I know it's going to grow when it blocks out. So there's a nice black dog hair in there. So I have no fear. And if it is a little tight and I, have gapping in the button band, I'm just going to wear it open because it fits perfectly everywhere else. So I have no problem just wearing it open. But I have no fear that it'll block out that extra inch, so it'll fit perfectly around the girls. But yeah, I have been very monogamous on this, and I'm loving it. So let me set that down here. So those are all of the projects that you've seen, because I can't not cast on things because I'm an addict. A cast on knitting cast on addict. I had to make do. I had to do another project. Had to start another project, and I love it so much. And Eva, the charm of it, I totally blame you. I watched your podcast with where you kind of promoted your friend who had just started making designing patterns, and I went and bought all of them. And then I saw your Understoried wrap that you're making, and I had to start one. So, if you can guess, I'm knitting the Understoried wrap by Remade by hand, and that is what it's going to look like. It is a scarf and a wrap pattern, and to go along with the copying, this is my yarn. It is this really pretty kind of pale green, and I absolutely love this yarn. This is by, oh my goodness, I can't remember. It'll come back to me, I promise. Sweet Sparrow Yarns, there we go. It's by Sweet Sparrow Yarns, and it is, I don't remember the actual base name, but it's a 50% silk, 50% merino blend, and it is the softest yarn. I just can't stop petting it. Once knitting this, I'm just like, ah, I can't wait to wear this around my neck. And it's in her Sage colorway. So, Sweet Sparrow Yarns, Julie, in the Sage colorway. It is beautiful. I love this kind of pale green. And let me show you what I've done. And this is knit on the bias, so it's kind of funky to show you because it's not blocked, but here we go. This is the very beginning. I've done, I think, let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 repeats of the first part of the lace. So that's what it looks like there. You can kind of see the lace, and it is so much fun. I think I cast this on and ripped it out like 6 times one night because I watched your podcast, Eva, and it was probably 10 o'clock at night, and I went, oh my god, I have the perfect yarn for that. So I went and I printed the pattern out and I wound the yarn up and I sat down, and it's probably like 10:30 by now. I cast on, knit the first repeat, didn't look right. Cast on, ripped it all out, cast it on again, knit the first 2 rounds, didn't look right. And it took forever. And now I'm finally going, now that it's not midnight, and it is super simple if you're not sleep deprived. Alright, sorry about that. Something made a loud noise outside and the dog started going crazy. So like I was saying, the lace is actually super simple if you're not sleep deprived and stubborn like I am. So as long as you're fueled with your caffeine or caffeinated beverage of choice when you start this, it works out perfectly. I just can't say no to casting stuff on in the middle of the night. So there's the lace pattern again. Let me just kind of show you. And my air conditioning's coming on. Apologies again, sorry. But I love this, and I am knitting it on size 3s. So these are size 3 Addy Turbos. The pattern calls for size 4s, but I seem to only have 1 pair of size 4 needles, and those are on my sweater that I just showed, my Sammal cardigan. So I wasn't about to take those off because I have been knitting on that like crazy. So I did a little swatch, and I really like the fabric that the size 3s have. And also, the pattern comes in a wrap and scarf sizes. I'm knitting in between the wrap and the scarf sizes because I tend to like my scarves thicker, like in width, and I didn't have enough yardage for the entire wrap, so I did 1 more repeat of lace wider than the, here, let me show you the bottom. Laundry's done! one more repeat of lace wider than the scarf. So I should be able to make a little bit wider, same length scarf with the amount of yardage that I have. And yeah, I absolutely love it. It is so soft, like I said, and I can't stop touching it. So those are all of my works in progress. I almost said finished objects. I wish they were all my finished objects, but they're not yet. So those are all of my works in progress. I do have one that I wanted to share with you, or a future knitting plan that I wanted to share with you, which is going to start in just a couple of days, because today is Sunday, July 30th, and I want to join Jacqueline Salem of the Brooklyn Knit Folk Podcast's knit along of the hipster knit along. So you pretty much find a pattern that has 30 projects or less, and you post it in her chatter thread so she can see that it has 30 projects when you start, because if everybody does the same one, then once we all make project pages, it's going to go up drastically. And you get more points if you use a yarn that you haven't used before. I'm using a yarn brand that I have used before, so I don't think I qualify for that, but I'm going to show it to you anyways. This is Juniper Moon Farm. I'm covering my price tag because So Juniper Moon Farm, and it's in Finley. And this is also a 50% wool, 50% silk blend. I think I've shown this to you before, and I mentioned I wanted to make a pie shawl. And this is not as soft as Sweet Sparrow Yarn's 50-50 wool silk blend. So, well, this is just wool and hers is merino. So that explains it right there. But, so this is the color. That's pretty true to color. It's kind of this really light taupey beige color, and it is gorgeous. So let me show you the pattern that I've chosen, which I believe when I posted in her thread it had maybe 12 projects, and it is a paid for pattern, but I love it so much that I just had to buy it. So it is the High Country Circle pie shawl, and let me see, there we go. It's got, you can kind of see the patterning there on it. It is gorgeous. I cannot wait to start. I can't wait to start. I've never made a pie shawl before, so I'm a little nervous, and this is kind of a light fingering, heavy lace weight yarn, which I tend to not work with as much, so that makes me a little nervous as well. And the entire shawl is lace, so that makes me even more nervous. But we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be beautiful, and I can't wait to start it. Her cal starts on August 1st, I believe, so just a couple days from now. So August 1st, I'm going to be starting, and yeah, I can't wait. Along the lines of cals, I do have a knit along going in my group on Ravelry. There's a thread for the Summer of Sweaters knit along. Right now it's just a chatter thread, which I'll probably just keep it that way. So it's just going to go up until the fall, and I just want everybody to knit sweaters this summer so they can have them available in the fall. Once it gets cold, you'll have your closet full of sweaters already done, and you won't have to focus on knitting a bunch of sweaters then, because you'll be warm and cozy already. And by all means, I'm going to be knitting sweaters through the fall as well, but it's going to be that much better if you already have a few done that you can wear. So just go ahead and post what you want to make in the chatter thread that I have on the Twisted Threads Ravelry group if you want. If you have any finished items, you can post in there as well. I will be doing prizes just from the chatter thread. I'll probably have a few and just random number generator it. But yeah, I can't wait to see what you guys are making, and I have a few pictures I need to post in there. Just haven't gotten around to it. Been a little busy, like I said before. But yeah, I think that's about everything that I have going on, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next time. So I am going to let you go. Have a great week or two, and happy knitting!